What is happening, people, and welcome to my kitchen, as well as today's video where I've been on a cut for a little bit over a month, and it's been going super well for me, and I've been getting awesome results. So I thought what I'd do with this video is just share with you what I have been up to in case some of you out there need some ideas on what to do for your own cut. Hopefully this will help you out. Now, before we get into what I actually eat every single day, I did need to specify 3 different things. The first of which is that this is the very first stage of my cut. Things can always get stricter, and believe me, they absolutely will. However, just like with everything in life, if you try to change too many things at once, or you try to make too big of a change at once, then that's not really sustainable, and most likely you're gonna end up failing. So you're much better off taking small steps down, and this is my first step. The second thing that I want to talk about is that I do not count calories. I know so many of you out there do count calories and you love it and it's worked for you, and I am happy for you. That has not been my experience. So what I personally do is make sure that I hit my protein requirements every single day of 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. And then after that, the rest of my meals are always focused on the quality and quantity of the food that I eat. And then the third thing that I want to talk about is that this eating plan is being done in conjunction with training with weights very intensely, very heavy, 3 times a week, only 3 times a week for about an hour each time. And then most days of the week, I walk multiple miles a day with my dogs, and every single day, my steps are no less than 12,000 to 15,000, depending on what's going on. All right, so the very first meal of the day always happens within a half an hour of me waking up. Now, I don't wake up on a schedule, I don't use an alarm clock, so whenever that happens, just within a half an hour, I start getting nutrients into my body. Now, because of my past with parasites and some of my other chronic disease stuff, I wake up and I feel sick almost every single day. Like, I still feel like I'm gonna throw up every single morning. So because of that, I typically can't get right into eating food. I have to kind of do a protein shake to start, but before I even do the protein, I always try to get in some things that I absolutely hate, but I know that I need them, so I try to get them done first thing. Now, even though I very much do not enjoy it, the very first things that I ingest every single morning, just to get it out of the way, is 1 serving of liposomal vitamin C, as well as 1 serving of liposomal vitamin D, and then I get some green supplements as well as red supplements. Now, you'll notice that all these are made by First Form, and that's because I'm sponsored by First Form, so I get them for free, right? You can do whatever the heck you want, but if you are looking for these same supplements, you can find them in the description box down below. So I end up taking 2 scoops of the green, 2 scoops of the red, adding them with water in a shaker cup, and I take some liver support with that, because due to my parasites as well as some Lyme disease and some other things going on, my liver is not the best, so I try to take care of it as much as possible because you only get one. Now, after I am done that, it is time for my protein shake, and I only do 2 types of protein, both of which are isolates. So these are the 2 that I use. This is Formula 1, and this is their clear formula. They also have level 1, which is not an isolate protein, it is more of a regular protein, but that honestly is a lot harder on my digestion than the Formula 1 has been, so I strictly stick to this or this. Both have been a lot better for me. Now, if you look for flavors, I personally, my absolute favorite of the Formula 1 is the cafe latte. I think it is the most amazing coffee flavored protein out there that there is, so you definitely want to check that out. And then this is a lemonade, and this, their clear protein, is a little bit lighter and thinner, so it's not thick like a normal protein shake, and it's a little bit more refreshing, so I like to use that. Now, when I do take that protein shake, I always take 2 fish oil capsules. I drink 24 ounces worth of water, and that pretty much sums up my very first meal. Oh, and for those of you wondering, some days I have a cup of coffee, some days I don't. It depends what's going on. I don't really feel much from coffee, so I don't really care if I have it or not. Oh, and my protein requirements, for those of you keeping track, it's usually somewhere between 40 to 50 grams per meal, so that I will get enough scoops out of there to get 40 to 50 grams of protein. All right, so now my next meal usually comes about 3 hours later. I don't time my meals or anything like that, but on average, I would say that I eat about every 3 hours. And at this point in the day, I am actually ready to start chewing food because my belly feels a little bit better. So this is almost always an egg meal. Now, every single day, I will be eating eggs and I'll be eating a salad with chicken. Those are 2 non-negotiables. I get them every single day. Sometimes I switch order, but every single day I will get those 2 meals. But for this meal, it is going to be my egg meal, and I'm going to usually have between 7 or 8 eggs, and inside those eggs I'm going to dice up some ham, also have some onions, some peppers, some hot peppers, things like that, and I'll typically eat it with some hot sauce. Now, along with this is also either 2 more fish oil capsules or an avocado, as well as 24 ounces of water. And if I am still hungry after that, I will eat some raw vegetables. Meal number 3, again, typically happens about 3 hours later, and it usually surrounds my training time. So almost always this ends up being another protein shake. And again, I typically use the clear protein for this because it is a little bit more refreshing. However, I still do use the Formula 1 in this situation with some milk. I always mix this, obviously, with water. This I typically mix with milk. Along with that, I do 2 more fish oil capsules and then typically 24 ounces of water there as well. But that protein shake, I usually drink mine during my workout, not post-workout. It's usually throughout my workout to keep my blood sugar a little bit more stable so I don't start feeling nauseous while I'm training. Meal number 4 often happens 2 to 3 hours post-workout, and this is probably going to be that big salad. Sometimes it's eggs, but most of the time this is a big salad. And when I say a big salad, I am talking about a big salad. I use mixing bowls for my salad, but I'd much rather than be filled with Lucky Charms. But this huge salad is just pretty much a big normal salad. It has like kale or lettuce and tomatoes and carrots and peppers and cucumbers and all the normal salad things, but a ton of chicken on top. Along with eating that salad, I will also have 24 more ounces of water, along with 2 fish oil capsules, and I will oftentimes eat any vegetables afterwards if I am still hungry. However, I typically make the salad big enough that that is not really an issue. Meal number 5. Now this is typically going to happen about 3 hours after the last meal, and this is my traditional dinner. Now I try to eat a really big dinner because for whatever reason, I don't seem to have the self-discipline later at night and I'm more likely to snack. So I try to fill up a lot so that I can stay satiated and full for the remainder of the hours that I'm gonna be awake, which I can't honestly say I always do. I'm definitely not as successful with that as I would like to be, but I do try to eat a big dinner to stop that. Now, dinner always consists of a lot of lean protein and vegetables. Sometimes it's another salad, sometimes it's just a ton of vegetables, but there's also a good amount of fat. Currently, I'm not eating any rice, I'm not eating any bread, I'm not eating any pasta, no traditional kind of starchy carb choices. I just seem to cut better when I cut those out completely, and I feel better when I'm running on fat as opposed to carbohydrate. So that's just a personal preference of mine. That I'm not saying that that's what you need to do, but yeah, that's typically my dinner. I will add another 2 fish oil capsules. I'll drink a little bit less water with this meal, so I'm not up all night peeing, but yeah, that's pretty much dinner. And finally, meal number 6, which sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't, depending on the day. However, if I am still hungry after dinner, later in the night, then I'll try to take a protein shake instead of doing as much snacking. However, I'd be lying to you if I said that I didn't do any snacking at all. I definitely do, because there's just something about chilling out at night and putting things in your mouth that is comforting. So I end up usually snacking on some sort of nuts and raw vegetables as well as fruit. I try not to overindulge in that, and if I do find that I am overindulging, then I will go back to the protein shake, or sometimes I will even chew gum so that I can kind of still get the chewing feeling without actually consuming anything. But yeah, late at night is probably my hardest time of the day as far as staying disciplined. I'm sure that's the same for a lot of you, but that is typically what I do for meal number 6. So some very common questions that people always ask when I say that I cut all the starchy carbs out of my diet is, what, don't you need those carbs for some sort of energy, or don't you feel flat and things like that? And to be honest with you, I don't. I've tried many different things. I know a lot of people just think it's calories in, calories out, but that hasn't really been my experience. I've had different results from if I went protein and fat versus protein and carbs. I do not try to mix carbs and fat together. I think that is a recipe disaster, at least for me, myself, and a lot of my clients. That has been the case. However, when I eat just protein and carbs, I will absolutely get leaner. However, I tend to lose a lot of my strength for whatever reason. This is just all anecdotal, but I tend to lose a lot of my strength. However, when I eat protein and fat, I tend to be able to sustain my energy better and definitely keep a lot more of my strength as I drop weight. So that's personally why I do this, but I think people should do whatever is best for them. There could be so many reasons why this works for different people in different ways. So you really need to experiment with yourself, but I would say give yourself at least 3 to 4 weeks of one type of eating, very strict, not kind of playing around with it, having off meals or anything like that. Just stay very strict for 3 to 4 weeks to see what actually happens, and then decide what you want to do after that. And you can change things as much as you want, but give yourself a real honest try of 3 to 4 weeks to actually see how your body responds. Now, also in this, I'm not doing any cheat meals currently. I have not had one. I don't know when or if I will. I don't really have an end for this cut, and I don't have a scale. I haven't had a scale since my last competition. So I honestly don't know what my starting weight was, and I don't know what my current weight is, but I can for sure say that I'm dropping body fat. I try to measure these things through how I look, before and after photos, and how my clothes fit. Like how tight my belt is on my pants or how tight my weightlifting belt is. Those types of things, because I'm definitely shrinking down around the middle, which is absolutely what I wanted to happen. Now, as I open this video, this is my first stage of the cut, so things will probably get a little bit more strict. I will continue to do pretty much exactly what I'm doing for about 10 to 12 weeks. Right around that time, things typically start to plateau a little bit and I need to get a little bit stricter. If it comes down to me counting calories, I absolutely will. However, in my entire life, I've never had to do that. I've always been able to reach the results that I wanted without having to count calories, and it's not something that I enjoy doing. So if I have to, I will. I don't suspect that's gonna be the case. I'm gonna keep driving on with this and see where I get, and then start to rebuild once I get to a body fat level that is a little bit more healthy for me and I feel a little bit better at. All right. So that is what I do have for all of you today. I do know that a lot of you probably heard this and you're like, wow, what a boring way of eating. But trust me, once you get away from the processed foods and the fast foods and all the junk, it gets so much easier because you no longer crave them and you feel so much better. So I would highly encourage at some point in your life, you choose to eat like this just to see what it feels like. And trust me, the time is now, because you are not getting any younger, my friend, and things are not going to get any easier. So take advantage of today and make a change. If you do need help with that and you want to get a coaching call to set up your diet or your nutrition or your training or whatever the case may be, email me at neversate@gmail.com to schedule a time. Or if you have any questions about your eating or whatever the case may be, feel free to email me. I'm happy to get back to each and every single one of you. I thank you all for all of the different ways that you support the channel, purchasing the ebooks, doing the coaching calls. All of it is just amazing and it helps me out so much. So I thank you. I will catch up with you later in the week. Until I do grab something amazing, realize, keep working hard, people. Be nice to each other. Eat your protein.